Well, welcome to the Boys in the Bus podcast. This is your bus home from Ibrox following Rangers 2, Celtic 2, just your average sort of Glasgow derby, not very much in terms of action or talking points. I'm your host, Terry. I'm joined by the gaffer, Phil McGinley. How are you, Phil?
Better than how I was about 90 minutes ago, to say the least. Again, it's the proverbial game of two halves, isn't it? It really was that. And my overarching feeling right now is Luke McCown was kind of right in what he said through the week. When we are on it, nobody can live with us. It's just a shame we can't do it for a full 90 minutes because second half we were by far and away the best team. So it's the old draw where one team feels like they've lost it and one team feels like they've won it. Luckily for us, we're the ones that probably feel like we've won it because it could have been so much worse at half time. But relatively happy, all things considered, that we've came away with something there, Terry.
I think we can't go overboard. We haven't won the game. We've got a draw.
No.
However, given how the game played out, given the circumstances of that draw, it feels like a point gained. I had my finger on the button at halftime. I was going to turn off the live support. I'd given up. I wasn't even feeling anything. I was starting to think about what the podcast was going to look like. You would be coming on and you would have a huge audience of non-Celtic supporters coming on to look for me to lose a rag or anything like that. And I didn't feel anything like that. And I think it's because I've kind of already made my peace on this game. I was really concerned about it. Then the performance on Thursday night gave me a little bit of hope. But I wasn't up for the game today. I'm usually up early and I'm agitated. I really wasn't. I didn't feel an awful lot. I kind of felt we would get beat today, and that would be the job done. In the first half, it didn't surprise me. It didn't surprise me how it was going, because this team cannot string. We can't string two halves together. We can't string two decent performances together. And in today's first half, we couldn't string two passes together. And I genuinely, at halftime, I kind of was making my peace with the season. And then from nowhere, we pull out a second half that some of the stats are unbelievable. 16 attempts on goal in the second half. And I mean, it's a point where we've come out this weekend another 2 points further behind Hearts.
I know.
But the life support is still on. We've got a mountain to climb, but we're still just hanging in there by a thread. And we march on to another game. Wednesday night becomes massive. We've just got to go there and get the 3 points, and then see where we're at. See where we're at.
And then we come back and do that Ibrox all again next week as well, because we've got the Cup. And all again.
Yeah.
God.
And again, the Scottish Cup couldn't be further from my thoughts right now. You know, if we hadn't got anything out of today's game, I really wouldn't have been looking forward to that next week. And if we don't get the job done on Wednesday night again,
I know.
You'll be on a downer going into the Cup game. But we're not. We're hanging on, and we'll go through it all. 74 people in the live chat. If you enjoy listening to us post-match, give us a like, give us a share, hit that notification bell, all of that jazz. Lineup, Phil.
Yes.
Talked about this with Liam on Thursday night. We were saying we'd like to see Sinsalo play. I still don't think he would have if Kasper Schmeichel hadn't been sick. Big shout out to Baz on the One Celtic Fans View, because he did a video where yesterday he was watching the training video and he said Kasper Schmeichel didn't look very well, and turns out he's sick. It was good to see Araho in there, because there was a bit of a concern around him. Was it going to be Murray? Was it going to be Arthur? I think Murray got the nod because he played on Thursday night and didn't make any mistakes. Again, I was willing the guy to do well today, but it's another Dane Murray horror show in a big game. And it's not the guy's fault. It's not Dane Murray's fault. Dane Murray should not be at Celtic. He made his debut 4 years ago. He's now played about a dozen games for the Celtic first team, and he's had howlers in at least half of them. It should not be that Dane Murray is our third choice centre back. It should not be that the centre back we signed in January is fourth choice. We should have got a centre half in January that was first choice. And again, all goes back to recruitment. We didn't get a striker. That was one that surprised me today, but did it really? Adamu or Svanchara, it probably feels there's not an awful lot between the two of them. Neither of them are very good footballers. Again, poor January window. Can you imagine if we had a striker? Our top goal scoring striker scored 3 goals. It's absolutely lamentable.
Terrible.
Disappointed Taneki didn't start. I know he's frustrating, but I just think right now we just look better when he's in the team. I think we've got a better chance of creating something. Maida got the nod on the left, Yang got the nod on the right, and the midfield was the one that I certainly predicted. Any shocks in there for you, Phil? Or happy enough?
In terms of shocks, I was the same about the goalkeeper. I thought it was going to be Schmeichel all day. So when I did see Schmeichel's not even made the squad, and the line about he's not well, there was a wee bit of me. I was like, is he though? Is he really?
Has he started dummy?
Yeah. I know he was sat on the bench on Thursday night, but with the European squad, you have to name 12 subs. I thought, well, he's on there, but I had this feeling that maybe something's up. But you did say that Barry, one Celtic fans, you did do a bit of detective work, so fair enough. I'll take it for what it's worth then. But Sinisalo played, I was happy enough to see that. The forward was a weird choice, but I don't think we've got many great choices right now. You're right to point out the lack of goals that the number 9 scored. I said to Liam on Friday night, worrying stat, the top scoring number 9 for Celtic this season is Johnny Kenny, and he's not even with the club. He's got 4 goals, and he's away on loan. Then I think it's Ian Atchell's got 3, because Maeda isn't really a striker through the middle, and even at that, he's been absolutely dreadful when he goes through the middle. Midfield is what I predicted. Murray, I did lean towards he probably will get the start, but I was worried about it, and I was justified today because, another howler. But everything else kind of as it was. I did say on Friday night to Liam, maybe Sriracha will come in and start, because Tierney, just the legs of Tierney, does he last the full game? But it's a good thing Tierney was playing, because before he did go off, he did get a very crucial goal for us. So, overall the lineup, probably the biggest surprise is Adamu starting, but again, as I say, with the options we've got through the middle right now, I think we're just throwing things at a wall and hoping something can stick.
Yeah, and surprise for me is no Ian Atchell even on the bench.
I don't think he rates him. I don't think Martin rates him. He's only really made European squads, again, because we've got to name 12 substitutes. And I think that's the only reason he gets in and around match day squads when that's the case. So,
yeah. But we're not going to get a centre forward now. We need to find a solution from within the group that's there, and I just don't know what that solution looks like. Do you go back to Svanchara? There's very little in Adamu. He's shown very little, but then Svanchara's the same. He's shown very little as well. He obviously doesn't fancy Iheanacho, and we know that Maida's pretty toothless through the middle as well. So it's just so frustrating that we're in this position and we haven't been able to get a centre forward that you can just hang your hat on to go in and do what centre forwards are supposed to do.
Aye.
Game started, Phil. You're hoping for a start like we got on Thursday night.
Yep.
We didn't get that. We're a goal down within the first 10 minutes. Fair dues to Tremiti. Wonderful finish. Really, really top finish. Really good cross from Skov Olsen. But I've got problems with this goal. It's a poor goal to concede.
Yep.
We lost possession in the right back area. McGregor putting Araujo in trouble. We lose the ball. Rangers get it worked to the other side. Skov Olsen, I think Scales has to stop that ball getting across. He doesn't do enough, and the guy hangs it up. And then looking at Araujo and Yang, why are none of the two of them in a position where they can go and attack that ball? If you watch it back again, it's quite comical, and I suppose it's a bit funnier now because we got something out of the game. But if you go and watch that goal back, watch what Yang's doing. He's up off the ground and he's done like a header motion, but sure, he's absolutely nowhere near Jamaica or the ball or anything at all. So I'm disappointed. Yes, it's a cracking goal. Probably go down as one of the best goals in recent times in this fixture. But from a Celtic perspective, I'm annoyed. It's a poor goal for us to lose.
Yeah, I'm glad you picked up on the start of the sequence of play, because it comes from Callum McGregor with a bizarre pass down in the right-hand corner to Araujo, and it's like, just clear your lines there. I think it was a case that it was him and Araujo were down in that corner. Maybe there was like 4 Rangers players in the vicinity. And it's like, that's just suicide playing that there. And yeah, okay, there is an argument for the goal doesn't directly come from that, because there's still plenty of time for our players to get back into position. Rangers still work it to their side. But yeah, it all comes from that. And I know in the second half, McGregor did pick up the game because overall the team picked it up. But in the first half, there was a few moments again where his sort of slow pedestrian play was putting us in danger. Slack passes that shouldn't really be on, and he's going for them. And that was one of them there. It's like, look, seeing that situation where it's down in the corner and we're being pinned in like that, just clear it. Even if it goes out for a throw in, just get it out, and then we can reset and try and get back into position. But put ourselves under unnecessary pressure there. And yeah, the goal itself, I mean, it's one of them. What can you do? You have to just sort of say, I know none of us like giving Rangers any credit, but it's some finish. And there might be some people out there that would have an argument with the goalkeeper situation. No goalkeeper was stopping that. So I know right away, as soon as you see the goal early, after there's a big palaver about our goalkeeper, instantly people are going to think, oh, would Schmeichel have done any better? No, Schmeichel wouldn't have done any better there. He wouldn't have saved that. And yeah, it's a fairly good goal by the big one, and a remarkable start for him. All his goals are coming against Hearts and Celtic this season, despite the fact it seems like he can't do anything else against anyone else in the league by saving it for us in the Jambos. But nah, fair play. It's a good goal, and the worst possible start, because that's something we always fear, Terry, going to Ibrox, especially with this current squad. The sort of mentality that they've got, where they seem to crack under pressure. We saw them at Tynecastle this season, where it's a really intense atmosphere. They seem to buckle. And Ibrox is a real cauldron of hatred. And to be a goal down that quickly, and we've just not even come out we ain't got on half at that stage. You're beginning to feel the worst right off the bat. When they're scoring goals of that ilk against us, you're like, God, what are we going to see today? What's coming down the pipeline for the rest of this game?
Yeah, I can see a few Rangers supporters in the chat. It all looks very respectful at the moment, and that's all good. We don't mind that. One nearly became 2. It's a bit of a strange one, because it didn't actually look as if it was a real sort of risk, but I actually hit the post at the back post.
Aye.
And again, you're starting to feel, Phil, with the start, we haven't got any kind of foothold in the game at all. I'm looking at Yang. He hasn't had a kick in the first 15, 20 minutes. He's had absolutely no touches. I think there was a stat went up that showed the amount of touches that some of the Celtic players had, and they were like 4 and 5 and stuff like that. The Ox, he gave possession away a couple of times. There were then a couple of attacking plays where he did show his class. I felt he was struggling to assert any kind of influence. I think he didn't have the legs for it. And I think that's one that we're maybe going to have to consider, is how I still think he can influence this running, and I think he can be a massive influence. But I think it became quite clear that the fitness wasn't there for him to be a starting player in this fixture at the pace the game was being played and the pressure we were under. And I think you've seen that then with Martin taking him off. So I'm not doubting the quality. I just don't think he had the legs for the fixture, and we maybe need to think about using him a little bit more sparingly to get the best of him. What I thought as well was, I thought him and McGregor, they were very, very close to each other at times, and it was almost like they were getting in each other's ways. They were making the same runs and trying to do the same thing too much.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that myself, with the midfield just play too close to each other. Too many players with similar traits. It's like I like to try and see the team spread the play a wee bit, or this tight-knit passing. And you end up just tripping over each other, getting in each other's way. And just on the chance that you mentioned there, the one that nearly went in at the back post, it was at that point I noticed that also that boy Moore was having the freedom of Glasgow, and all of their attacks were coming down that side, which was interesting. Because that was obviously the side that Araujo was on, and Dane Murray was the centre back on that side, and Yang is the forward that's supposed to track back and help out. But of course, we know Yang doesn't have much defensive qualities to him. So it was interesting that Rangers were constantly getting a lot of joy down there, and very rarely were they going to the left-hand side, which would have been Tierney and Scales' side. So yeah, early on, they made it quite clear that first 20 minutes, I say that boy Moore, he was just, doing everything for them out there, and yeah, they just kept on going there all the time. And again, in my mind, I'm like, it's probably because Dane Murray's on that side and he's seen as a very weak link in the back line. Because Araujo's obviously good. We know what Araujo's like. He's shown so far that he's got the quality, but once you get by Araujo and you step inside, the next defender in the way is Dane Murray. So I think that's why they were constantly looking at the right-hand side. And when that one did float in at the back post, or towards the back post, my heart was in my mouth there, because the way the camera angle was, it did look like it was going to dip in right at the back post, because it just went over Sinisal's head. But I guess as somebody comes in at the back post and it hits outside of the goal frame, doesn't it? Aye, it does. Aye.
Just before Rangers scored their second, we had an opportunity, and it was good footwork from Oxlade-Chamberlain. He plays my end down the left. He fires the ball across the goal, and again, go back to our point, there's no centre forward, there's nobody there making a run, that centre forward who wants to score goals and is hungry to get in the end of things. We just don't have that player. It's not there. And the ball goes to the other end, and calamity from Dane Murray. Just reminded me of the one at Tynecastle, where he just swipes at a ball and it goes in the wrong direction. Can Araujo do better, Phil? Could he have done better? The guy's getting a lot of credit for the little touch and the cute finish. Could Araujo do more?
No, I think he's caught flat-footed, because see the way that ball's coming in at the pace it is, you do not expect Dane Murray to miss that. Dane Murray just needs to put his laces foot and boot it away.
Well, you should do if you've watched him.
Well, you should. I know. Us fans, maybe the heart's in the mouth every time it goes near him, but yeah, it's if you're in Araujo's position where you're covering behind him, you see that ball coming in and you think he's just going to deal with this. And the goalkeeper is probably thinking that, but I don't know what he's thinking, because Murray's right-footed as well, right? Just swing your right foot. I say boot it out for a throw in, whatever, just get it clear. And I don't know, he just tries to take some sort of touch with his left foot, completely bamboozles him. And I think that just catches Araujo out, because he's caught flat-footed by it. And yeah, Chamiti obviously takes a good touch to then just sort it past Sinisalo, who probably also is caught out by it. But ironically, as I've just said there, most everything was coming down the right-hand side. That was probably the first attacks that they did down the left-hand side. And Dane Murray happened to come across to that side. And he, of course, was the centre of everything that went wrong there. And I don't blame Araujo too much there, because if I'm in his position, I'm expecting my teammate to deal with that, because it didn't look that difficult a ball to deal with. But I don't know. A glitch in the matrix. Something's went wrong there, and Dane Murray's just completely fluffed it, and just panic at the back. There's absolute panic stations from everybody, and we've been punished for it. And at that point in time, you're like, what's it going to be today? Generally, at that stage, you're thinking this can be whatever they want it to be today. We are absolutely all over the shop here.
Yeah, and it could have been, Phil. There was another couple of chances before half-time. There was one where Liam Scales blocks what would have been a certain goal. And then there's the free kick where Big Fernandez, is it Fernandez you call the guy?
Fernandez,
he should do better. He should score from there. Again, how do we not know that that's going to happen? They've scored so many goals from set pieces. He's the guy that's scored a lot of them. But if another one goes in there, then we're absolutely dead and buried, and it could be in any score. And even then at half time, I'm just sitting there, and I'm just sitting in silence, just feeling just no emotion whatsoever. And my wife came in and she just took one look at the screen and said, "Oh dear," and just walked out again. And that was her away to the shop. She didn't even say cheerio or anything. She just she just didn't engage. She just took one look and the screen, one look at me, and away.
At half time, Terry, you were ready to get the blue bin out for a few players to get dumped in that, I'm assuming anyway.
There wouldn't have been enough room for the amount of players that needed to go in the blue bin. Martin rings the changes at half time. He's had to do this so many times, Phil. Like, normally you don't see changes at half time. Adamu, nothing, absolutely nothing. Taneki comes on for him. Hatate came on for Oxlade-Chamberlain. I probably was a little bit surprised that he was so ruthless with him, but you don't know what's happened there. The players maybe came in himself and said, "Look, I'm off the pace here," or Martin's just told him he's off the pace, or you don't know. But Hatate comes on, much maligned Rio Hatate. I think you would have got long odds on Rio Hatate being the player who would come on and change the whole face of this game. But I think it's fair to say that he did. Maida moved to centre forward. Again, we've not seen anything this season that would have give us any kind of encouragement that was going to get us anywhere. But we get a goal back within the first 10 minutes. And I think this is a really good goal from a number of perspectives. We're probing around the edge of the box on both sides. Taneki makes a difference. He's running at the fullback. He's giving them something to think about. The ball drops to Negrin. And what a delivery it is, Phil, because, again, you've got the 6'7" Fernandez who's in front of Kieran Tierney. You've got Nico Raskin, who we know to our cost is really, really good in the air as well. And that cross has to be pinpoint. It has to be right in the one position where Benjamin Negrin put it to enable Kieran Tierney to get on the end of it. And he puts it right there. And it's a textbook header from Tierney back across the goalkeeper and into the corner. And he's just breathed life into a game where, as I say, I was very close to pressing the button to turn the life support off.
I was getting flashbacks to the Kelly game a couple of weeks ago. We came on the post-match and the two of us had the same feeling in the second half there, but it's like, right, you divide the half up into segments, and it's like, if we can get a goal back before this milestone, then we've got a chance. And of course, it's the hour. You always look at the hour as the first one. And I think the goal comes in about the 58th minute, 59th minute. It was just right before the hour. Because I honestly said that to my dad when we were watching it. I said, this is like the Kelly game. See if we can get a goal before the hour mark. And this was just as we were probing at the edge of the area. And then we swing the cross in, and Kieran Tierney, great header down into the corner, out of Butland's reach. And right away, you just felt there was something there. The crowd had instantly turned. On Friday night, said that to Liam, I says, if we can just frustrate them, just like at Celtic Park right now, because we're no innocent in this one. You know, whenever a team frustrates us at Celtic Park, it's very toxic. The away crowds always seem to be better for both Celtic and Rangers. But at home, if you can start frustrating them, then they will turn. And how quiet Ibrox became in that second half from pretty much early on, before the goal even, because they could sense that we were getting a foothold of the game. You're right to highlight Hatate as well. I've been very critical of him. We all have. He's been phoning it in for over a year now, I think. But credit where it's due. He was fantastic today. Absolutely fantastic. And yeah, he ran the show in the middle of the park. There was, I mean, again, I'm always quite good at pulling out comparisons to games I've seen in the past. And there was a game, the famous Cup game years ago, the 2-2 when Scott Brown did the celebration in front of Juve. We were down to 10 men in that second half, and at halftime we changed it and went like an extra midfield. I think it was Ki Sung-young had came on. And in the second half, we were by far and away the best team, even with a man disadvantage. And today, we've changed it in midfield. Hatate's came on, and he just pulled the strings and calmed things down. And he was crucial to it. And when that goal comes, you could sense it, even though there's half an hour left in the game. So again, you've got those milestones in your head, right? We've got one back. You're now looking at 70 minutes, 75 minutes. If we can get another one, it could be like Kilmarnock all over again. So there was something in the air when that happened. Like, there's something here for us. There's definitely something that you could sense it. Like they are falling. They're starting to crumble a wee bit. And I think the proof is in the pudding. When I ask you this, Terry, what did Sinisalo have to do in the second half at all? Anything? Nothing.
Not a thing.
No.
the turnaround from that moment, it was a Celtic that we expect to see, charging forward, creating chance after chance after chance. In fact, you were missing so many decent opportunities that you're starting to think, from me sitting completely numb and motionless at half time, you're then invested in the game and you feel as if there's something in it for you. But as the chances start to get passed up, you're thinking, are we going to get another one? Is it going to be too little, too late? A good second half performance, but we just can't get the goal. Maida has a header that it goes straight at Butland. If he'd been able to do the same as Tierney done and head it down across the goalkeeper, that goes into the net. The balls were starting to fall around the edge of the box, and it felt like everybody was having a pop from any sort of distance. Hitati gets a good one that he blazes over. Negrin blazes one over. Araujo has a shot that gets blocked, and they're starting to rain the shots in from absolutely anywhere. But then you start to get to that sort of 70, 80-minute period where you really need the goal to come. Martin changes it up a little bit more, brings on Srirachi for Tierney, brings on Luke McCowan for Yang. I felt Luke McCowan had a really, really good chance. He has to do better. He was going really, really well on Thursday night. He was closer in, but it was the same kind of opportunity. He's in on that sort of inside right position, trying to open his body up, and it's a weak effort. Taneke done really well in the build up to it, and I felt at the time that was the chance, that was the one. He needs to go across. He needs to go across the goal, and he made it quite easy for Butland.
That wee passage of play was excellent. It was all this wee one-touch football, and you saw it open up because obviously the camera angle that you get at Ibrox, you could see Luke McCowan there, and I know he's left-footed, and this is a problem with left-footed players. They seem less confident to go on the weaker foot, while you see a lot of right-footed players still swing a left foot at it, and yet he just needs to drill it with his right foot. Just at that point in the game, just take a chance, drill it with your right foot. Maybe Butland spills it, maybe you zip it across the goal and Maeda or somebody taps it in. But yeah, once he took that extra touch to sort of open himself up, it was weak. It was really weak compared to what he did through the on Thursday there, when he opened up his body. But as you say, he was a bit further out, so he had a wee bit bigger target to aim for. But yeah, I think in that position, when you're there, you just need to, regardless of what foot's your stronger one, just swing your right foot at it. Just go, because we're at a desperate point in the game. And yeah, at that point, you're starting to see the sands of time ticking away, because these chances are falling. And yeah, then it's like, okay, is it even going to happen? Have we given ourselves too much? I know in recent weeks we've made a habit of rescuing games right at the death, but you're starting to see the clock tick away and all these chances coming, and it's like, yeah, this might be one step too far for us this time. And luckily it wasn't, and it was a hell of a twist in the tail, to say the least.
Before we did get the goal in, the chances, as you say, they did keep coming. Dane Murray had a chance at redemption. He does really well to get up against Fernandez and win it. And there's been absolutely nothing I'd love more than Dane Murray to score in the game. There was then one for Taneke, where I think Negrin plays him in, and Sterling does really, really well and just ushers in. I actually think it was a corner when I look at it, and John Beaton was right beside it, and he was just adamant it was a goal kick. I felt we had a shout for a corner at that point.
That moment kind of summed up as well, just in general, with our team, with the lack of physicality and strength that they've got at times, where, okay, you've been shown onto your weaker foot. He obviously wants to come in his right, but he just had no body strength against Sterling there at all, and he's just able to just shove him off it, basically. That's it.
Yeah. Negrin, who I thought Negrin had a decent game, Phil. We didn't get the goal from him, but I felt he was involved in a lot more. He played his part, obviously, in the Tierney goal with that pass. I just felt he was dropping deeper. He was getting a wee bit more involved in the game. But he goes off for James Forrest, and within a minute, James Forrest has beat his man on the outside, and he's clipped up a lovely, lovely cross, very, very similar to the one that Skov Wilson done in the first half. And Forrest has just clipped that up. And I've just gone, what a save. And then I've gone, Dyson, you've got to score. You've got to score, Dyson. And then I'm going, what a save from Butland. I had no inclination that there was a handball. If you look at Maida or Hatate, who were the two closest players, nobody's asking for a penalty kick. And I'm just sitting with my head in my hands going, you've got to hand it to Butland. That was just top class. And then the next thing, there's a check going on. And I'm going, what the hell could that possibly be for? And then the longer it goes on, you're going, there could be something in this. And I couldn't watch. And I was kind of just sitting with my head down, just going, please be something here. Please be something. And then Chris Sutton starts to, he gets a little, there's an air of curiosity around Sutton's voice. And you start to go, and my son had come in at this stage. And I said, could this be a handball? My son said, it does hit his hand. And I'm going, right, okay. And I still didn't want to look at it. I just wanted to hear that John Beaton was being sent across to the
it was very reminiscent of the free each game a couple of years ago where he had to give one against Goldson with a handball. Remember, he gave us a pair. Matt O'Reilly chipped it down the middle. He looked so miserable when he was walking to that screen because he knew. Because you're right, you see at the time when it happened, right, there was no clue, no evidence, nothing. So when the play gets stopped and he's checking something, you're like, this has to be a nailed on one because it was so obscure and so like nobody noticed.
There was nothing else.
There has to be something there. And when you do see the replay again in slow motion, as it skims off Maeda's head, it's actually going towards the back post. And when his left arm comes out, it actually deflects it onto Butland. So it's actually a good save by Dujon Sterling in the end, because he stopped it, because that is actually going in. Maeda's head is going in the back post.
And the commentators always know before anyone else what's happening, and you could tell it was going to be called over. And then I've looked at it, and I couldn't see any way he wouldn't be able to give it. And I don't know why it took him so long to give the damn thing. And he's watching it over and over and over again. I'm just going, he might not give this here. He might not give this. What's he looking at? You only have to look at it once. And it's an absolute stonewaller. And the longer and longer it took, I'm thinking, he might not give this here. And I'll be interested whenever the audio comes out just to see what the two guys were talking about for that period.
Can you get me off the hook here? Do I really have to give this? That's what they'll probably say to each other. Like, how do we find a way not to give this?
What I found really strange is that John Beaton and Stephen McLean, they've almost become a double act here. The amount of games in the last month where they've been paired with each other, with either Beaton referee and McLean and the VAR, or vice versa. And I remember the audio from the game where Trusty gets sent off against Hearts, and that was McLean referee with John Beaton in the VAR. And the audio on that was really, really telling when Stephen McLean has made the decision that he was going to give Trusty a yellow. And when we heard the audio, the assistant VAR was speaking, and McLean goes, it's an opinion. It's an opinion as to whether you thought it was a red or a yellow, but I trust John. It's the exact words he said. I trust John, which meant he had made his decision before he even came over to watch it. He had said, I trust John, which meant I trust John Beaton's judgment. And he was going to run with what John Beaton had said. But today, I was getting very panicky that John Beaton would find a way to not give it.
A few people in the chat, and to add on to that, are asking, should Sterling have been shown a red card for deliberately denying a goal-scoring opportunity with his hand? Because it was going in the back post. I think it happens in such a flash. I think it'd be really harsh to send the guy off, regardless of my feelings towards Rangers and Dujon Sterling. But yeah, a few people in the chat are saying should have been a red as well. A double whammy.
Did you think it was deliberate? I don't.
Nah, it's not deliberate.
I didn't say it's deliberate.
I get it is going in, but it's not deliberate. It's no swatted.
Is it not the same as the Ralston one? Is it not the same as the Ralston one in the cup game?
Ralston was falling over with his hands
Aye,
inside.
but they said they had to give it because his hand stopped the ball going into the net.
Well, yeah, it does do that. I suppose there is that precedent there. But I guess Ralston didn't get sent off in that one. Did he get a booking for that? Did Sterling even get a booking?
He got a booking, yeah.
So yeah.
But there's a hell of a lot more drama from when he's actually pointed at the spot. You've then got you've got a bit of gamesmanship with the Rangers players standing around the spot and delaying the taking of the kick. You've then got trying to work out who's going to take this. So he's got a hold of the ball, and I'm thinking, is he going to take it? And then the commentator starts to lead you that it looks as if it might be Hatate. And as much as he had a really, really good game when he came on, I was in no way confident. I suppose it's not necessarily just because it was him. I'm just not confident about Celtic scoring a penalty kick.
I'm the same. I feel physically sick, and I said that to my dad. I'm not terrible at penalties. You've got to score this now. Like, you're putting it on us to score. I'd rather we scored an open play because it's like, I really trust us to score a penalty. And when we were obviously waiting for the kicker to be decided. Obviously, I've seen Celtic do this a lot this season when it comes to us getting a penalty. We hold on to the ball, like McGregor might take it in that, because we don't want the taker to be known quickly enough, because the Rangers players might try and put them off or whatever. So we'll try to keep them guessing till the last second. But I did suspect it would be Hatate, because I'm sure he's taken a couple this season. He took one against Midtjylland, if I remember. It was quite a sloppy penalty as well that night, but it found a way in the end. But yeah, I did think it would be Hatate. But I did kind of like the way like Araujo was sort of like basically telling Raskin to F off, when Raskin was trying to be a bit El Wido, he was just get out of here essentially. I quite enjoyed that. But no, it was I was nervy as hell, man. Let's say I felt sick because I'm like, this is huge. So like this moment can keep us in this just by the skin of our teeth. And I wasn't confident either, because our penalty record is pretty dire to say the least, and I had no confidence in anybody. And the drama still didn't end there though, Terry, did it?
No, it didn't. He takes the penalty. Jack Butland makes a save. Rio then follows it up, fires it into the net, except he doesn't, because Jack Butland makes an even better save when he's on the ground. And you just I'm just sitting there going, please just put it in the net.
Oh, man.
The only thing I'm glad is that Rio Hatate got there for the third time, because I think Dyson would have missed. If he got there, he would have missed.
Do you know what else could have happened, and this would have been so typical? Rio Hatate, Dyson Maeda touches it onto Rio Hatate into the net, it would have been deemed offside. Yeah. So it's a good thing that Hatate did give the two of them going at the same time. There's just again, things that can only happen to Celtic at times. You just feel like it just goes against us, but that's the type of madness that would have happened to us there. Missing the penalty, missing the rebound, getting it to the third bite asking, but then it's like, the two players going in at the same time, they could trip over each other. One could knock the ball into the other one, that'd be given offside. But no, we got it there in the end, and when they show the close-up of Hatate running back to the centre circle at the slow motion, he's just a big, massive sigh of relief. I'm just like, aye, you're no kidding. How do we feel after watching that? Oh my God. Just, again, as you said at the top of the show, just another normal day in the world of the Celtic and Rangers. No talking points at all. Absolute carnage, absolute madness because of that penalty.
But then, Phil, from where we felt at half-time to getting back to 2-2 and given the dominance that we'd had in the second half, you've 6 minutes. And I suppose the only disappointment after that for me was we didn't actually get another chance to win the game, really. And do you know what? We gave a couple of silly free kicks away. Sriracha gave one away down on the Rangers right. And then Tanecki gave a silly one away. And, you're just given an opportunity for them to fire a ball into the box, something that they've got a lot of joy from. But, after the roller coaster, you're happy just to hear that final whistle. And it doesn't do an awful lot for us in terms of the bigger picture. So keep me right on this. But right now, we're 8 points behind Hearts. We have that extra game. That extra game now has to be 3 points. In fact, we're now in a position, Phil, where we probably need to win these last 10 games to win the league. I think 9 might get it done, but even then, that's a massive, massive ask, and it has to start on Wednesday night, and we just have to keep ticking these games off as cup finals, 10 cup finals, and we have to win. I think we have to win 9, and we may have to win 10 to try and get this title over the line.
No European distractions anymore as well, but you're also needing Hearts to drop 3 games, I reckon, or 2. If they lose 2 games and maybe draw 1 and we win all 10, so it's a big ask. But yeah, that's what we're looking at, because we need some snookers to go in our favour now. We need a few teams to step up and do some favours. Hearts have still got to play Motherwell before the split. They'll have to play them again. We've got 2 games in Motherwell, who we keep coming back to, are the best footballing side in the country. They've conceded the least goals in all the top leagues in Europe, apparently, as well. Saw that through the week. They've only conceded like 19 goals or 18 goals all season in the league, and that's the least for any team in any top flight in Europe. And I was like, fair play, Motherwell. So that's not going to be easy for any team. Rangers will still need to play them again. Hearts and Rangers need to play each other. There's a lot of stuff there, but the mission is clear for us. If we win all 10 remaining games, and I've seen in the past, I've seen Celtic win games like 16 games in a row and stuff like that, but just the way this season's went, and this team at times where we only seem capable of playing well for like a half at a time, we've got to find the spark now. I thought today, I spoke to Liam on Friday night, and we were talking about predicted lineups, and is today the day to try and do something different, a change of formation, a change in tactics? But we kind of stuck to what we've been doing. Yeah, second half we pulled it together a bit more, but imagine if we played like that for the full 90 minutes, we'd be sitting here talking about 3 points, and we would now be chasing down Hearts with a chance of game in hand on Wednesday night to get really close to them. But yeah, now we're in a position where, right, we have to go and do the job on Wednesday, hope that gets done, and then it's just a case of we need to make sure we do our thing, and Hearts have to drop a few points here and there as well. But yeah, it's a dramatic running ahead for us, man. If you're a nervous disposition, then it's not going to be a fun next 2 months.
There's absolutely no margin for error now at all, and it's very, very difficult to see this side going on that run. But it is possible. But it starts on Wednesday night. Hearts have had a couple of scruffy 1-goal victories there, but they're getting the job done, which is the most important thing. I said to you before we come on, their next 2 away games on paper should be 2 of the easier ones, but it's Kilmarnock and Livy, 2 teams down the bottom fighting for their lives, both plastic pitch. You know, we need them to slip up, and they're the kind of games where they get hit.
There's one I forgot. Smell the Glove just said that Hearts have got to go Easter Road following the split, because Hibs will finish in the top 6 as well, so they'll have to go Easter Road again. So there is that, and you know that Hibs will do everything in their power to stop Hearts from winning the league. I've got a few mates who are Hibs fans, and are like, you guys have got to get your shit together and stop them from winning this league. And I'm like, look, I couldn't tell you right now if Celtic are going to win this league. It's an absolute shit show of a season. Every week's different. But I says right now, it's Hearts' title to lose. It is really their title to lose. But yeah, they've got a couple of tricky ones coming up. Livy, you look at it and you go, like, it's Livingston though. But Rangers struggled at Livy last week. And I think the other games that Hearts have beat Livy this season has been by a goal. It's only like a 1-goal, 2-1, whatever, 1-0 scoreline. So Livy are fighting for their lives down there. They should make it difficult. So they gave Rangers a tough one last week. So there's nothing there. And Kilmarnock have had a few decent results. They obviously very nearly got something out of us the other week, made it difficult for us. So yeah, there's nothing to. If it feels like you just can't predict anything, you know, right now. Say for us, if we win 10 games out of 10, we're going to probably win the title. But you can't even guarantee that right now. Hearts, with some of their fixtures, can't guarantee them to win it. And same with Rangers, their away form in particular is pretty erratic. So it is, to say, it's going to go all the way here. It's going to go into the last 5 fixtures after the split, and all to play for then. But as long as we do our job, but my God, we've got to find a serious bit of spark here to get going, because time is running out.
So come Wednesday then, who do you think will be in goal, Phil? Assuming Casper overcomes his bug.
I mean, for me, I would still be sticking with Sinisalo, but what's Martin going to do? He's probably going to put Schmeichel back in. I mean, Sinisalo said today he's conceded a wonder goal and another goal that was caused by a defensive calamity. Other than that, pretty safe. Dealt with everything that Rangers threw at him for the rest of the game. crosses, came and collected them, no problem. So to me, I think I would just rather stick with Sinisalo. So if I've got the choice, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm worried that Martin O'Neill's going to be too loyal. He did have a blind spot for goalkeepers in his first spell as manager with the whole Rab Douglas stuff that a lot of fans pointed out. He stuck with him for too long. It's like Kasper Schmeichel's been making a lot of high-profile mistakes this season. It's like we need to stick with... I think we need to stick with Sinisalo, but I wouldn't be surprised if Kasper finds his way back in.
So here's the next big call you need to make then. Murray or Arthur, which is a very difficult decision because you've not seen Arthur, but you have seen Murray. Where do you go with that one?
Oh God. I would take a leaf out of Liam Greenlaw's book here, and I would get Kieran Tierney in the middle and play Sirachi at left back, just because Tierney's played centre back before, and it's like because Murray, again, it's going to be difficult conditions up at Aberdeen on Wednesday night. Nighttime game. Could be piss and rain. They've had a lot of problem with their parks. It's going to be a heavy pitch, I'd imagine. Oh, I don't know. I mean, I think he'll stick with Murray just because I think Martin O'Neill's got that in him, but he likes to be loyal to players and not down them in confidence, by dropping them after a high-profile mistake. So again, what I would do is not have Murray, but I wouldn't have Arthur neither. I would try and just do the whole thing. We'd try and get Kieran Tierney in the middle because Liam suggested that a few times, but realistically, that's probably not going to happen. It probably will be Dane Murray that he'll stick with. It probably will.
And the last one I'm going to ask you is centre forward.
Oh, Jesus. I suppose probably the Chavanchara, probably the option here but he didn't even get on the day. That's the thing. He didn't even get on. His hold-up play, I think, has been pretty good. Obviously, his output in terms of goals isn't exactly great, but he holds up the ball really well, but there's nobody anywhere near him to run off him. No wingers making runs inside to try and support him. No midfielders getting forward to help, and it's like it's no good if he's stuck up there himself. So that's where, again, me and Liam on Friday night talked about, if you're going to play him, try and get a centre forward up there with him and play two up top. Rangers played two up top today. They started with two strikers. And it's like, so it's not like, oh God, you can't play two strikers nowadays. You can. And I think the big man, he wins a lot of good knock-ons and holds the ball up well, but if there's nobody there to support him, what's the point? But it was 5v there if he puts it back in. I think with the Adamu thing today, the idea probably was he's a bit pacey. You've got guys like Fernandes and Suter at the back for Rangers. If you can get in behind them, you've got a guy that's pacey. But we didn't utilise that in any way because from midfield to front in the first half, we just didn't have any chemistry at all. So we couldn't utilise that in any way, shape or form. But for Wednesday night, you'll probably get Chavanchara back in. It's probably going to be him.
Okay, we'll see what that brings. And then obviously next weekend, we are in Scottish Cup action. Again, that's going to be a free week for Hearts. We're in Cup action. And just the way the game finished there today, bit of afters at the end, just adds extra spice to the mix. Might be one next weekend where you see quite a lot of cards, a lot of animosity at the end there, and you've got 74-year-old Martin O'Neill. And
oh no, he was writing about it on his birthday.
Trying to sort everybody out. I think there'll be a few confrontations next weekend. Araho was very much involved from our side, and Raskin seemed to be involved. So I wouldn't be surprised next weekend if those two come head to head at some point.
Yeah, that head loss at the end of the game there, it kind of plays into what I said at the top of the show about Luke McCown's comments. Obviously rattled them a wee bit, and at half time I think they've went in with a bit of typical Rangers gallus swagger that they've got about them, and probably thought this will be a canter. Because I know at the end of the game, obviously the post-match analysis in the Sky Studio, James McFadden was sort of probing Chris Boyd, saying, do you think it was a bit of arrogance from Rangers? At half time they thought it was game done and that's why. And Chris Boyd's like, no, definitely not. I think it was, and I think it boiled over at the end because they knew at half time they had us by the jugular. They could have made it whatever they wanted it to be. They did not expect us to come roaring back. And in the end, you could argue that they're the ones that are lucky to get a point out of that with the way the second half panned out. What was he said? 16 shots out of 17 in the second half alone. So I think at the end they've lost the rag. I think it's them that's instigated all of that, because they're kicking themselves. They're like, how have we not came away and won that? And I think tempers have boiled over. Adds a wee bit of spice to next week. Obviously, it's going to be a full Broomloan standing off for the Celtic end. So that will be that hopefully that gives us that wee extra support. But Martin O'Neill, Maloney, and Big Fozzie have to be looking at that second half performance and going, we need to start like that next week. We need to start like that in every game, and we need to keep it going for 90 minutes because that, as I say, is the biggest problem. Celtic are, on their day, untouchable in this league, but the problem is we can't do it for a full 90 minutes, it seems, anymore. But if we can just produce it, if we can just find a way in the last 10 games with no European distractions anymore to just play how we did in that second half, then things will be better. But right now, what Celtic is going to turn up, we just don't know at the moment, Terry. So it's a frustrating one in the sense that had we started the game better today, we could be sitting here with the 3 points, but we take it in the circumstances, I guess. And onwards to Aberdeen now, and then a cup game next week where we'll do it all again.
Yeah, that'll do us, Phil. We've lost ground on the league leaders, but given where we were at half time, it feels like a good point. We live to fight another day. That day comes on Wednesday night, and we will deal with that when we get there. And as always, I will be on after the game, win, lose or draw, and we'll have a chat around what we've watched. 200 over 200 in the live chat. Standing room only on the bus. Give us a like, give us a share on your way out. Thank you very, very much for joining us. Celtic's season was almost dead and buried. It's still, the life support machine is still turned on. There's still a little bit of life in us yet. Phil, thank you very much for joining me.
Hey, bother us all, mate.
Healthy up. Cheers.
Right. Cheers, guys. Cheers.